Alright then, I don't know if this is a bad omen, me wearing some classic West Ham colours for this preview, but I'm going to say that I'm wearing it because I'm so confident that Chelsea are going to win this one. Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Football Channel for a West Ham United versus Chelsea match preview. An opportunity for the Blues to continue what has been a very good run of form pre-coronavirus, post-coronavirus. Chelsea are one of the form teams in the country right now. West Ham United are staring down the proverbial barrel of relegation. It would be an absolute disaster. Just a few years after moving into this big, horrible stadium, the Olympic Stadium, I went to West Ham Chelsea, and I also went to a FIFA launch party at the Olympic Stadium. It's probably my least favourite stadium, apart from the Etihad, in the Premier League. But that being said, I can't be at the game, and it kicks off at 8:15 in the evening in the UK, which is bloody late, and it means it's 3:15 in the morning here in Bali, so not the most preferable kickoff time for me. But that being said, I will be doing 6 things we learned, so if you don't want to miss any content here, subscribe to the GBFC channel, and in today's video I'm going to tell you why I believe that Chelsea are smelling blood with this fixture. I think we're going to go with a 4-3-3 attack-minded formation to go to West Ham and blow them off the park. I think what we've seen so far in the 3 matches from Chelsea is our ability to play different styles to win games in different ways. The game against Aston Villa, we were much more expansive, we dominated the possession, and even though we didn't create that many big chances, for the first game back, it was very positive from Chelsea. We got the 3 points away from home. This season, in away games, we've actually been very good at dominating the possession. Even Manchester City away, against the Guardiola team, who always dominate teams' possession-wise, Chelsea did very well there as well. We then had Manchester City at home, a game where, again, we didn't really expect to have that much of the ball. We played more of a counter-attacking style, and we got the win there. And then against Leicester, that was a bit of a dogfight. It was very scrappy. We didn't play very good football. We created as little chances as we have all season, yet we still managed to get the grit, the determination to battle through and obtain the 3 points, or, well, not really the 3 points, it was the FA Cup, progression to the next round. This game is huge for both of these two sides. West Ham are looking to do the double over Chelsea. I remember when they came to the Bridge earlier this season, it was horrible. It's never nice to lose at home, whether it's against a big team, I know West Ham fans are going to get triggered by that one, or against the team who are lower down in the table, but particularly a team lower down in the table who also happen to be one of your biggest London rivals. Chelsea and West Ham, there's always been animosity between the fans. There's always been a big build-up, and even though it isn't necessarily like playing against Spurs or playing against Arsenal, there's always that added incentive to beat West Ham United. There's been some trouble in the away end over the years at West Ham, so fortunately there's not going to be any fighting, but I do wish I was there. It would be a very good away day to go to. West Ham away. Now, who are West Ham's danger men? They've actually got some very good players, despite being so low down in the table, one of which, who I do want to talk about today, is supposedly a Chelsea target this summer, and Chelsea have been reported to be interested in the signature of Declan Rice, the man who played in the Chelsea Academy. He's best mates with Mason Mount, and it was the reason why naughty boy Mason was out during lockdown. But Declan Rice, he broke into the scene at West Ham, broke into the England side under Gareth Southgate, and he can play as a number 6, which is a position I want to talk about a little bit today in the Chelsea ranks. And also, Declan Rice could be seen as a potential long-term partner for one of the Chelsea centre-backs. If we're looking to solve that centre-back problem, I don't necessarily think that Declan Rice would be the immediate solution to the centre-back problem at Chelsea, because I think at the moment he probably prefers to play further up the field, but he has played the majority of his career as a youngster as a centre-back. So Chelsea being linked with him, let me know your thoughts on potentially signing Declan Rice this summer. I spoke on the Alex Goldberg podcast. If you haven't checked it out, it's called the Byline podcast. I was there last night with Simon Phillips and Mark Worrell talking about Declan Rice and about how Chelsea could offer this summer maybe Michy Batshuayi, potentially Ross Barkley. West Ham have been interested in Ross. Chelsea could offer one of those players or both of those players with a bit of cash in exchange for Declan Rice. But he's one of West Ham's strongest players. You've got Felipe Anderson, who would be far too good to be relegated down to the Championship. He's always going to be a trouble. But West Ham this season, it's just not clicked for them. They're really down in the depths of the relegation battle, and I think Chelsea could go there playing a very attacking, expansive style with the classic Frank Lampard high press, and I think we can go there and get a good result. Now, as with any match preview, the key thing is to build the Chelsea team in the video that I think is going to go and get the win. Like I said against Manchester City, I came into that video with a lot of confidence saying why Frank Lampard's Chelsea will beat Pep Guardiola's Man City. A lot of people in the comments before the match was played are like, Benson's been on the good stuff. Not quite. I always try and build my team so that Frank Lampard can combat the positives that the opposition bring, but at the same time utilising the strengths within this Chelsea team with all of the different types of players we have who can play in different positions, but also with an eye moving forward into Frank Lampard building his Chelsea team game by game with his vision for the future. So without any further ado, we start with the obvious one. Despite a clean sheet against Leicester, Willy Caballero comes out and is replaced by Kepa Arrizabalaga, a man who potentially is on a little trial right now as to whether or not he will be Chelsea's first team keeper next season. I've made it very clear here on the George Benson Football Channel that I think Kepa will be Chelsea's #1 next season. I think that we should give him another chance. We spent a lot of money on him, and I think that credit where credit's due, there's not been a man of the match performance since football's return from Kepa, but he's made some big saves, and I think he does look a lot more confident trying to come for balls in the air, and I think we're seeing a lot more positive steps from Kepa moving forward. Moving in to the right back position, and a man that I do want to give a hell of a lot of credit for, Azpilicueta. Not only do we know that Azpi is obviously the Chelsea captain, he brings the leadership to the team, but the way that he's come back and the way that he's performed so far just goes to show the credit to the individual as to how great of a professional he is. He's come back and he looks like one of the fittest players since the return, and he's also putting in very good defensive performances. He came on and you could argue that he was just as important as Mateo Kovacic was when he came on in that game against Leicester. We saw him as Chelsea were attacking, operating areas of the pitch in the middle of the park so that the overlap could happen on the right hand side from Willian. It was a great combination, and Azpilicueta for me starts at right back in a flat back four with the two centre backs being Kurt Zouma and Andreas Christensen. I wasn't too convinced by Rudiger's performance against Leicester, and I was very convinced by what I saw from Kurt Zouma. The issue at Chelsea when it comes to the centre-back, and I bring this in to why we've been linked with players maybe such as Declan Rice or Koulibaly, who Liverpool supposedly are now out of the race to sign him, which means that the door could well be open still for Chelsea. The reason that we're still being heavily linked with centre-backs is not because there isn't quality within the centre-back positions at Chelsea. Both Zouma, Tomori, Rudiger and Christensen individually are all very good. But when I see Rudiger partnered with Zouma, I don't know if I'm the only one who's seen this, but it looks as if Rudiger's always a little bit nervous to be playing alongside Zouma. And I think Zouma, in that game against Leicester, Chelsea kept the clean sheet. Zouma was there with the blocks, and even though his passing may not be the best, and I think maybe there is better ball-playing centre-halves at the club, Zouma is definitely improving in that department, and I put him in there alongside Christensen because I thought Christensen was magnificent in that game against Manchester City. He was probably Chelsea's best centre-back as well in the few games leading up to the break in football, but Christensen alongside Zouma is my centre-half pair. I don't think next season we will see that as the regular centre-back pairing. I do think Chelsea will make a centre-back signing. I kind of hope we do. But for this one, those are the two that I'm going with. And the left-back, I wasn't convinced by Emerson against Leicester. I don't think it was the kind of performance that plays his way straight back into the Chelsea starting 11. At the same time, I didn't think that the opposing left-back, Ben Chilwell, was 60 million quid better than Emerson in that game. So, moving away from Emerson, I'm not slating him, I just don't think he was good enough in that game against Leicester. Marcus Alonso, whether you love him or hate him at Chelsea, he's actually in very good form in the left-back position, so Alonso starts for me in the left-back role. I think we've actually seen him a lot better playing in a flat-back four. We know that he's best as a wing-back, but he's been a lot better in that flat-back four, and I wouldn't say that Chelsea need to go to West Ham and play with three at the back with wing backs. I think that we can definitely go with confidence that with a 4-3-3, with someone playing in the number 6, that we can go to West Ham and win the game. Now Chelsea, the question is, who is the best number 6 at the club? I think moving forward, if Chelsea are going to continue to be linked with attack-minded midfielders, we're going to likely have to see Mateo Kovacic be moulded into more of a number 6. N'Golo Kante, the jury's always out. What is his best position? Can he play on his own in front of the defence? For this game, I would stick N'Golo Kante in the number 6. I think for his long-term future at the club, there may not be as many options for him to play in that pivot moving forward. So I do think that N'Golo Kante as a number 6 is what we'll see. There's also the option that with Mateo Kovacic's ability to carry the ball forward and with his hard tackling, we could actually see Kante play slightly further forward with Mason Mount, with Mateo Kovacic in a number 6. But I think that could be a little bit too experimental from Lampard for this one. I'd stick Kante in the number 6 with Mason Mount and Mateo Kovacic just further ahead, meaning that we've got a front 3. So I know a lot of you might be thinking, George, you gave a lot of praise to Ross Barkley after that game against Leicester. Why isn't he in your midfield? And surely you're not going to wedge him on the right wing. I'm going to think of Ross Barkley in this game against West Ham as the super sub that he was against Leicester City. I think that Chelsea can start this game to go ahead and win the game in the first half. We can then see Ross Barkley be introduced in the second half. Chelsea could maybe revert to a 4-2-3-1 to protect the lead and to continue going forward with Ross Barkley potentially playing in the number 8 or number 10 role. As for the formation that I'm building for the starting lineup, we're going to go with Willian on the right-hand side, on the right wing, with Christian Pulisic, the man of the match so far since the Corona break. Pulisic on the left, with Tammy Abraham up front. That is the team that I think Chelsea could go ahead and win the game in the first half with. You've got Ross Barkley who can come off the bench. Will we see Jorginho feature in this game? He's not featured at all yet for Chelsea so far. That's another question. There's also the option, of course, of Olivier Giroud, who did score a goal against Aston Villa. But I think Tammy will be the starting striker for this one. I think he needs a goal to build up his confidence a little bit. And he did score a very good goal in the game against City that was offside. Or was that the game? No, it was Leicester, not against City. Well, technically Leicester City. Tammy did score, but it was offside. Good finish. I think he could get a goal or two in this game against West Ham to boost his confidence. That is my Chelsea starting 11. Ross Barkley to come off the bench if we need to either change the game or continue to kill the game. I think Chelsea can be very confident going into this one. I don't want to be overconfident. I'm not trying to disrespect West Ham. On their day, they can be a very good side. And of course, they came to the Bridge earlier this season and won. I just think with the way that Chelsea have played away from home this season, with the confidence that we've got and the growing confidence within this team, I think this one is definitely Chelsea's to lose. So anyway, let me know your thoughts on the team that I've built in the comments down below. There is potential that we might see Ruben Loftus-Cheek in there as well. Chelsea have got an abundance of options, and at the moment, with everyone playing well, there is definitely people that deserve to be in the starting 11 who I don't necessarily think will start for Chelsea, but we've always got players to call upon on the bench, which goes to show the dynamism within Frank Lampard's teams. Chelsea are in a good run of form. I expect it to continue against West Ham tomorrow. Stay tuned to the GBFC channel. There might be a stream if I'm awake on time and I can sort my bloody internet out. If not, 6 things we learned after the game. Catch you guys there. See you in a bit.